Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I'm so honored to be here and then kind of a little nervous to be here also to share my story. Even if I did more than 1,000 of the speakings all around the world, but still it's really nervous because I've never had this many women audience before. Yeah. Thank you for coming here. I still remember 8 years ago, and it's a great, perfect timing to have a talk here because exactly 8 years ago today, I was in space station. Yeah, that's because to memory that I have a space station earring now. So it's my kind of tradition. On the day I had a blast off, I have a rocket earring. And after that, I have a 2 days rendezvous time with the Soyuz capsule, so I have a Soyuz capsule earring. And then after 2 days, I have a docking with the space station, and I stay over there 9 days. And then during that 9 days, I have a space station earring. So today, yeah, it was the 8th of April, 2008. And really, really honored to have the Valentina Tereshkova. She's the first female in the space 50 years ago. And she came to the Baikonur, Kazakhstan to kind of make me cheer up, to encourage me up. Originally, she didn't have a plan to come there. And then she was too huge celebrity all around the world. Right after the Yuri Gagarin passed away, she's the only person who could be the first in the world. Sometimes I met her during the training, but I would never expect her to come to my lunch because it's too much. But she came, and then I was so shocked when I take off the bus and I get out of the bus and then on the way to the launch pad, and then she was over there. And then she held my arms and then keep talking to me onto the rocket. Soyeon, don't worry about it. Everything will be okay. Soyeon, don't worry about it. Everything will be okay. But I feel like I'm a kid and she's like my mom on the big, huge exam day or SAT day. And then I'm totally okay because I have no idea about what's going on. But she's so nervous. So, everything will be okay. Don't be scared. And then, I'm all totally okay. Because I don't know what will be. It's my first time. So sometimes something is too much. And you have no idea, and even you don't feel nervous because it's too much for me. So in the morning, my flight surgeon knocked my door and then into my door. Soyeon, how are you? You should wake up. Oh my God, how can you still sleep now? Today is your launch day. How can you sleep well? And then I told him, you told me I should sleep well because it's my launch day. So he told me, yeah, I told you. But as an astronaut, it's impossible to sleep well, but I'm okay. Right after getting out of the room, and a lot of the journalists over there, especially some Korean journalists, yelling to me, what was your dream last night? And then I didn't even have a dream because I had a really deep, good sleep. So all the people, how can you be like that? Because it was too much. Even I cannot be nervous. And then I hold my water bottle because on that day I hold the water bottle because I heard the tradition of the whole Russian astronaut and then whole the astronaut who were flying from the Kazakhstan Baikonur from the Russian launch pad. Because Yuri Gagarin, when he had a flight, he feels so nervous. So after all things check up and he's ready to getting into the rocket, so he take on the bus and on the way to the launch pad and he stopped the bus. And then asked driver, let me get out of the bus. And everybody was shocked. What happened? You should fly today. And he get out of the bus and then pee on the bus tire. Because he's so nervous. He's the first person. He would never be sure he can come back. Because nowadays, a lot of people already knew that Yuri Gagarin was not the first person who would be in space. He was the first person who survived after flight. So he feels so nervous. He knew that several his students, his friends, his colleagues didn't come back after getting out of the place. So he peed, and then getting on the bus, he had a successful flight. So every single flight, all the Russian astronauts, on the way to the launch pad, they get out of the bus. But it's really, really insane because we have that flight set, and we check whole pressure, we check everything, and we are ready. So we are not supposed to open zipper. We are not supposed to take off the flight suit. But every single astronaut, they take off and pee and then getting into the rocket. But because we are humankind, we want to follow the tradition. We want to follow the successful tradition. So nobody can tell them no, because everybody knew that how nervous it is, how scareful it is, kind of like. And then that is my headache. How can I pee on the tire? I'm a woman. But as the first Korean astronaut, as the one of the junior rookie astronaut, I really, really want to follow the tradition. So after having that spacesuit, taking on the bus, keep thinking, how can I follow? How can I follow? And then finally I found my flight surgeon. He's the Korean Air Force military. And then he's right over there. And then because I cannot handle anything, I cannot have anything with me on the way to the rocket, I asked him, please bring one bottle of water. And he said, why? Because I need water. And he said, you will have water after getting to the launch pad. No, I need water on the way. So he bring one water, and then we take on the bus. As we expect, in the middle of the total empty plane, bus stop. And then all my engineer, commander, he ready to take off the bus. I think, that's the time. That's the time to pee. Yeah. And then one star general, he said, my friends, and then, yeah, it's a time, get out. And then they get out, and I follow them at the end. And then that general guy told me, Soyeon, what are you doing? Because I'm ready. And he said, you are a woman. But I'm ready. I really want to follow the tradition. Please, please. And he said, you cannot pee on the tire. You are a woman. So I take off the bottle. That's because I bring this. So at least I want to pretend to pee on the tire. Because I know women can do everything. At least I want to pretend. Even if I don't have that kind of things, but I really want to do it. So I'm in front of the door, and then general stand in front of the door, and he blocked me. You cannot. Okay, for the privacy of my friends, I will do opposite side of the bus. And he said, no. It's not safe enough outside. But they already get out. And they are guys. They are military. But you are civilian and you're a woman. You cannot pee on the tire. I told you, I just pretend. And he said no. And then he was so kind of strong voice. And then he was never serious like that before because he was my Russian daddy. Because all my training, he take care of us and he did great to me. So I believe he allowed me to do it. But he was totally restricted me. So I was so disappointed. But now I can understand why. Because I'm foreigner. Whatever happened, he should be responsible because he was a general in that bus. But at the time, I feel so disappointed. And I keep trying, and he blocked me. And then he said, okay, I will do on behalf of you. And then he get out of the bus. And he came back, and he brought small little flower from the wild plane. And then it was a really small, cute little flower. I feel really appreciate. But still, I feel a little upset because I couldn't pee out there. And then he told me, please hold the flower, it's for you. And then you're a woman, so better to have a flower rather than a peeing outside. And then, but I feel so upset. It's so kind of, how can I say, so sexism. And then, please. And then I went to finally go to the launch pad, get on the stairs, but right on the top of the stairs, somebody kicked my back and then almost my hip. And then I was almost fall down. And then I have some effort in Korean and then yelling out loud. And right below me, his engineer, my close friend, and he said, didn't you know that? And then, what? I couldn't hear anything. And he said, it's the good thing. In the Russian tradition, whenever their close friends or family member had a really long trip, they kick the ass in front of the door and then pray for them to have a safe trip. So, you are not allowing me to get out of and to pee on the tire because I'm a woman. But even if I'm a woman, you kick me. It's not fair. But after for a while, I believe, wow, yeah, they at least want to pray for me. They at least want to wish me to luck and then everything. So because I didn't fall down, everything went well. But what if I was falling down with that spacesuit? Then our launch should be canceled because spacesuit should be intact and clean. So that was my interesting story, untold story of my launch. And finally, I had a blast off and still remember shaky and huge sounds because we have some small little problems, so we cannot be sure if we will have a real blast off or not. So have a radio transmission with a control. And my mom was almost cried and she was totally freezed and then total gray face on the observatory looking in this rocket. And then she would never learn about rockets. She had no idea about engineering. And then she would never see rocket launch before. She would never get out of the country either. So it was her first foreign abroad trip out of the Korea. She grew up in a farming area. She would never never been in the middle school, high school at all because she grew up very conservative Korean culture 50, 60 years ago. But she came here to say kind of good luck for me. And then, of course, she didn't want to come, but TV company pushed him, you should go to make a good documentary. And then my mom cannot say no because she doesn't want to make me screw up. So she came. And finally, we have a blast off. Everybody exciting and then yelling, wow, successful blast off. But my mom fell down and then lose her consciousness because she thought it's explosion. Huge fire and huge smoke, and she would never seen the rocket blast off, so she thought it's an explosion. My daughter, and then crying, and then my flight surgeon come to me after whole my flight, and then, Soyeon, right after your blast off, I think my job is over because you already gone, but your mom is next patient of me. So after getting back, I heard all the story, and then I told Mom, did you do that? And then my mom said, oh yeah, because I thought it's explosion. And then I told Mom, it's embarrassing. You are the mom of the astronaut. You should be brave. And then my mom told me, you should have exactly same daughter like you in the future. Then you can understand. So, now I'm hoping to have a baby. I'm married. So at some point I can understand what she means. And at some point I realized maybe I don't want my daughter will be an astronaut because it's a little dangerous and scary. So hopefully she can be a tiny little girl and doesn't do that dangerous job. But during my training, all the things, I really want to do this because as an engineer, I always do my research and an experiment in my lab, but what if I can do experiment in the space? What if I can fly? So that was my dream, and then my mom told, okay, Soyeon, please let me know. Even if you already became a final candidate, but you would feel scared, but you cannot tell everybody because everybody looking at you. So please tell me, frankly, honestly, are you really scared or do you really feel scared? And no, I really want to go. That was my answer. And this is the space station.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among these stars. Let me see what's free.
Yeah, it was my last day of the flight. I can do the meditation like a Chinese master in space. And I had a third black belt. I was a taekwondo player. I always dreamed to be like a Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee doing the flying kick. Finally, I can do that in space. And of course, as you see, I was the representative of my country, Korea. I'm so proud of my country because 50 years ago, when my mom was in my age, we had nothing. But now we had a Samsung, LG, and then all cars, and even astronaut. And still, I remember, I feel so honored because one day Hillary Clinton came to our country, and then she, in the middle of the astronaut, she called me, and then I've never expected she called me, and then I stand up, and then she said, yeah, when I was in middle school, I dreamed to be an astronaut. I went to the NASA and then asked them how I can be an astronaut, and then NASA told her, we don't have a woman astronaut. So she told, I don't know if it is true or not because she's a politician, but but she told, that's because I went to the law school. And then, but you see, in Korea, you have a first astronaut, it's a female. I'm so proud of her. And then, wow, that's incredible. So I'm so honored to be the representative of Korea and bring all the experiment to the space and then do all stuff for my fellow researcher and scientists. It's really, really something. And everybody asks me how space look like. And you see this kind of moon here on the Earth, exactly same, because space station is only 300 miles away, 200 miles away, so close, but moon and stars are far, 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 far away, so exactly same. But different is, when you look down to the Earth, there is the place I'm from. There is the place I was born. There is the place I was playing with my friends. I love my family, all those things under. And yeah, could you go back? I don't have a back button. Yeah. I don't mean the. Yeah, maybe. Oh, no. That one. My friend Scott Kelly, who've been in space for a year, kind of a month ago, he came back, but his former flight, he sent me this photo. Do you know what this photo is? Yeah, I also couldn't have any idea before he talking to me. Most of the astronauts told after their flight, yeah, Earth globe is one. There's no boundary between the country. So Earth is one. So we should be peaceful, blah, blah, blah. That was the kind of typical comment of an astronaut. But during my flight, I could see the boundary between the country, especially between the rich country and poor country, especially at night. Left top is the Seoul, lower below is the Pyongyang. So North Korea, South Korea, boundary, distinctively clear at night because we have electricity, they don't have electricity. So at night we have a boundary. It's so sad. It's really, really sad. And it takes 90 minutes going around the Earth. I'm looking down to the Earth, never get bored because Earth is beautiful. And then one day, after seeing those kind of beautiful scenery, I wonder, oh my God, why on earth I was born in Korea? I've never write down an essay to be admitted by the Korea. I've never write down resume to get hired by Korea. I've never write down the application when I was in my mother's belly to be born in Korea. Nothing. So every single people like me and you, we were born randomly, accidentally, without any reason. It means exactly the same as like me, 30 years old woman in North Korea, she was born there without any reason. But she's starving, she could be killed. She couldn't do anything, even if she pushed herself too much. But thanks to being born in Korea, I could go to the school. Even if I'm a woman, I could be an engineering PhD, even became a first Korean astronaut. So before that time, I thought like, yeah, I became an astronaut. I'm so proud of myself because I did my best. But one thing all the way first, who made me to born in Korea? Nobody. Maybe my God. Then, that is not the thing I did. Then, all the way from the first is from the luck and then blessing. And I realized, oh my God, how blessed I am. How can I pay back? How can I be the person who deserves that big, huge blessing? And I'm an engineer. Right after that, I calculated how low probability to be born in Korea. I told you I'm an engineer. And didn't think about a timing, just think about the right now, whole billions of the population and the Korean population, less than 0.001% to be born in Korea. Higher probability to be born in Africa. Higher probability to be born in the middle of the China than I don't have even birth certificate as a girl. So, wow, what an incredible, lucky situation. Everybody here, you have a chairs, even if you don't like your job, even if you don't like your family, or even if you don't like anything in your country kind of things, still, you beat that low probability to be born in the world top class country. That is something. Yeah. So after that, that's the thing I realized from the space. And sometimes I really, really admire the person who already realized without a space flight. So maybe God made me to go to the space to realize that, how lucky I am, how blessed I am, how many things we already have to feel grateful, but we always complain. I complain my phone because my iPhone 4 was 7 years old. I really want to have a good phone. But thinking about the space flight, if I complain, it means I have a phone. Every day I complain about Comcast because internet speed is too low compared with Korea. But at least I have an internet. One of my kids who I'm mentoring, he is studying in Africa, he doesn't have internet. So, whenever, if you complain something, means you have that one, even if somebody really wishes to have one. And I want to close because my time is already over. He's the Tsiolkovsky, most incredible scientist in Russia. Before becoming an astronaut, I didn't know about him. But I learned about him, and he's not PhD, he's not a doctor, but he was the first person who designed the space station and rocket. And he teaches the kids in small town. He was deaf, but he did incredible things, and all Russian space field people, even in US, all the rocket scientists, NASA people, they know him because he's the very first person who suggested about the design of the rocket. And he said that a planet is the cradle of humanity, but one cannot live in a cradle forever. When I read that sentence, what does it mean? Cradle? Yeah, Earth is the cradle of the human. Yeah, we live in the earth, we have all food, we have all air to breathe, we have everything, we have, of course, after the capitalism, we should buy, but anyway, all the way the first, that was already on the earth before we buy it. So we got for free. So Earth is cradle of us, but why? We cannot live in a cradle forever. And then I think, cradle, what's the cradle? Cradle is the place the baby was there. Yeah, cradle was incredible place. You can have everything. If you cry, mom change your diaper. If you cry, mom give you a milk. If you cry, mom always like, what's the problem? She always tried to make something happen. So that is the most comfortable place to be. But what if a baby stay in the cradle forever? He or she cannot walk. He or she cannot eat whatever they want to eat. They should eat whatever their moms give them. So if I were in the cradle forever, even if it's really, really comfortable, I cannot develop myself. I cannot grow up. I cannot be better. I cannot be matured. So in the space program, we always use that word. That's because we should go to the space to develop our own human, to make our Earth better. But in my case, that's because we should try to get out of our comfort zone to make ourselves better, to develop ourselves better. Of course, Washington State is out of my comfort zone because I'm from Korea. I studied in California, but I hope I will grow up. Thank you.